She looked me in the eyes and said, "I don't owe you intimacy, Jack." And in that moment, something inside me didn't break. It stopped. 8 years of marriage. 8 years of sacrifice. And with one sentence, she handed me the clarity I didn't know I needed. If you've ever felt invisible in your own marriage, if you've ever been the one who kept apologizing just to keep the peace, hit like, subscribe, and stay with me. Because this husband-wife story transformation isn't just about intimacy. It's about what happens when someone finally decides they deserve to matter. That IT started on an ordinary Wednesday. The kind of Wednesday that doesn't warn you it's about to change your life. The kitchen lights were dim, soft yellow against gray countertops. The dishwasher hummed. Outside, traffic murmured like distant static. I just finished a 12-hour shift. My back ached. My bones felt hollow. Laura was leaning against the counter, scrolling her phone. 8 years of marriage. No kids. Just routines. Predictable. Manageable. Quiet. Too quiet. "Hey," I said gently. "Want to spend some time together tonight? Maybe watch something? Or just talk?" Nothing dramatic. Nothing loaded. Just connection. She didn't smile. Didn't even look up right away. When she did, her eyes weren't tired. They were irritated. Like I'd interrupted something more important than us. She crossed her arms. And then she said it. Slow. Measured. "I don't owe you intimacy, Jack." The words didn't shout. They landed. Hard. The room felt smaller. The dishwasher clicked behind us like punctuation. I laughed awkwardly. Because surely I misunderstood. What does that even mean? Her expression didn't soften. It means exactly what it sounds like. Just because we're married doesn't mean I owe you anything. And there it was. Not just the sentence. The distance. Eight years of late nights. Extra shifts. Canceled trips. Fixing things. Smoothing arguments. Carrying weight she never even saw. And she said it like she was quoting policy. I stood there staring at her. Like she was a stranger wearing my wife's face. The clock ticked louder than it ever had. Every argument we'd had rearranged itself in my head. The way she'd brush off conversations. The way she barely looked at me when I walked into a room. The way I'd always been the one to apologize first. Puzzle pieces, clicking into place. She walked out first, left me standing there with the echo. That night, I stared at the ceiling, replaying it, over and over. Had I missed the signs? Or had I just been afraid to see them? Morning didn't soften the ache. It sharpened it, not into anger, into clarity. If she didn't know me intimacy, maybe I didn't know her endless sacrifice. Maybe I didn't know her the version of me who kept shrinking just to keep things calm. So I didn't confront her. Not yet. I watched. I listened. I studied. Like I was reviewing evidence in a case I'd avoided filing. And what I saw hurt more than the sentence itself. She dismissed the things that mattered to me. My excitement. My stress. My wins. My worries. I was background noise in my own marriage. But she occupied every corner of my world. And I hadn't even noticed. One night, I sat in my car in the driveway, staring at the dark windows of my own house. I looked at myself in the rearview mirror. Who was this man? The one who bent himself into shapes just to avoid tension. The one who forgot what it felt like to be chosen. Something inside me spoke. Not loudly, not dramatically, just firm. You don't get to define my worth. The days that followed were different. Not louder, quieter, colder. Laura moved through the house the way she always had. Detached, efficient. But now I saw it. Every clipped reply, every half-listened conversation, every time she kept scrolling while I talked. And for the first time, I stopped filling the silence. I stopped asking about her day, stopped reminding her about appointments, stopped being the emotional cushion she could fall onto. The first 2 days, she didn't notice. Or maybe she assumed I'd snap back into place, like I always did. Then one evening, she paused in the doorway. "You're quiet lately." I shrugged. "Just tired." That was the first crack. The next morning, she started a conversation. I let it fade, didn't chase it, didn't fix it. Her agitation started small. Comments about laundry, the dishes, the gas tank, little things. But her voice had an edge, because she had nothing to push against. I didn't argue. I didn't defend. I didn't react. And that unsettled her more than any fight would have. And she tried something new. One night, she brought me coffee. Black, just how I like it. Sat beside me. Waited. I thanked her. Calm. Distant. Went back to work. Her smile faded. Another night, she suggested a movie. "I'm not in the mood," I said. Her brows knit together. Confused. She wasn't used to this version of me. The version that didn't beg, didn't chase, didn't overcompensate. The tension thickened. She'd reach out. I'd step back. She'd start. I'd let it end. Then one night, she cornered me in the hallway. "Are you mad at me?" Her voice was softer than it had been in months. I looked at her, and I meant it. "I'm not mad. I'm just done trying harder than you." The words didn't yell. They cut. She blinked, stunned, because for years, she assumed my effort was guaranteed. Now it wasn't. The next morning felt colder. She watched me when she thought I wasn't looking. I went about my routine. Steady, grounded, choosing myself. By noon, my phone buzzed. "We need to talk." By evening, her messages were frantic. When I walked inside, she was pacing. "Jack, we can't ignore this." I set my keys down. "What do you want?" That question froze her. "You're acting like a stranger." I let out a tired breath. "I'm following your rules. You made it clear what this marriage is." Color drained from her face. "I'm allowed to set boundaries." "Then so am I." Silence. Heavy. "If you care about me," I said quietly, "then show it." She sank onto the couch. "I don't know how we got here." I didn't comfort her. I walked to the guest room, closed the door. That thin wooden door felt like the first real boundary I'd ever drawn. Days passed like ghosts. We moved through the house without touching, without lingering, without warmth. At night, in the guest room, I took inventory of my life. I wasn't exhausted from marriage. I was exhausted from carrying it alone. One evening, I stood in the living room. She was pretending to scroll. I said it simply. "I can't do this anymore." Her head snapped up. "Do what?" "This half-life. This imbalance." Her voice cracked. "So you're leaving?" "I don't know," I said. "But we need space." Tears filled her eyes. My body almost moved to comfort her. But her sentence echoed again. She had drawn her line. Now I drew mine. I picked up the bag I'd packed earlier. She didn't chase me. She just watched. That night, in a cheap hotel room, staring at a cracked ceiling, I asked myself if I'd ended my marriage, or finally taken my first full breath. The air felt lighter. Not happier, just lighter. We texted in the days that followed. Short conversations, long pauses. She suggested counseling. I wasn't ready. She said she didn't know how to fix it. I admitted I didn't either. She tried. She really did. But something inside me had shifted too far. You can't unhear a sentence like that. You can't unknow what it reveals. In the end, there was no dramatic explosion. No screaming. No betrayal scandal. Just two people who had drifted too far. I filed for separation. She didn't fight it. When I signed the papers, my hands didn't shake. Because I finally understood something. I don't owe anyone more than they're willing to give in return. Not love. Not devotion. Not pieces of myself that... As I walked out of that courthouse, sunlight warming my face, I felt something unfamiliar. Relief. Marriage isn't about winning. It's about being seen. And sometimes the loudest wake-up call is the quiet decision to stop begging to matter. If this story resonated with you, hit like and tell me in the comments. What would you have done in my place? And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful husband-wife story transformations. I picked up the bag I'd packed earlier. She didn't chase me. She just watched. That night, in a cheap hotel room, staring at a cracked ceiling, I asked myself if I'd ended my marriage, or finally taken my first full breath. The air felt lighter. Not happier, just lighter. We texted in the days that followed. Short conversations, long pauses. She suggested counseling. I wasn't ready. She said she didn't know how to fix it. I admitted I didn't either. She tried. She really did. But something inside me had shifted too far. You can't unhear a sentence like that. You can't unknow what it reveals. In the end, there was no dramatic explosion. No screaming. No betrayal scandal. Just two people who had drifted too far. I filed for separation. She didn't fight it. When I signed the papers, my hands didn't shake. Because I finally understood something. I don't know anyone more than they're willing to give in return. Not love. Not devotion. Not pieces of myself. As I walked out of that courthouse, sunlight warming my face, I felt something unfamiliar. Relief. Marriage isn't about winning. It's about being seen. And sometimes the loudest wake-up call is the quiet decision to stop begging to matter. If this story resonated with you, hit like,